Unfortunately, a number of client vehicles have been damaged beyond repair. We are just another scumbag dealer that is only here for your money, and we don't actually give a crap. All we're trying to do now is financially protect the bottom line, and we couldn't care less about people, even if their 5,000-mile Jaguar I-PACE is now only worth £4. Good morning. I've got my highlighter pen out for this one because I'm going to review this as we go. This is from Fleet News. Customers accuse flooded Jaguar Land Rover dealership of using bouncers to hide ruined cars. Inchcape dealership are hit with fresh claims over the flood at Derby Jaguar Land Rover site. Do you remember this one? This is during Storm Babbitt. This was a couple of days after I'd been cruising around with my Range Rover and driving through floods. A Jaguar Land Rover site went completely underwater. Cars were flooded up to, well, pretty much the windows. And it was basically obvious that this was going to be an insurance nightmare. But it seems that Jaguar Land Rover, you decide if their reaction is justified. So, headlines. Customers are saying insurers have been denied access to cars which have been written off. The firm told owners last week that they needed to contact their own insurers after the flood. And Car Dealer magazine was told that the dealer group is not accepting liability for the vehicles that were in its care. Let's go. A Jaguar Land Rover customer whose car was written off in a brutal flood at Inchcape Land Rover Derby says security bouncers at the site are refusing his insurance company access to the vehicle. Car Dealer magazine reported last week that Inchcape had been contacting customers whose cars were destroyed in the recent Storm Babbitt. In a templated email seen by Car Dealer, the group instructed affected owners, including supercar dealer Tom Hartley, to contact their own insurers. However, claims have come to light that the firm is refusing to cooperate with assessors and blocking access to affected vehicles. This is shocking. One customer told us his Range Rover is being hidden and held hostage by Inchcape security bouncers. Wow! The owner says he contacted his insurance company as instructed by the dealer group, as we've seen, and arranged for an assessor to pay a visit to the stricken vehicle, to go and value it, to work out how much he needs to be paid back on the Range Rover to get him back on track with his life, which is what insurance is for. However, the assessor was refused access to the site, meaning the claim cannot be fully processed. The customer, who has now enlisted the services of a solicitor, slammed Inchcape's customer service and accused them of passing the buck. He told Car Dealer magazine, having read your recent article regarding the disgusting post-flood service being offered by Jaguar Land Rover Derby, I want to let you know of my experience, which mirrors Tom Hartley's and some. I too am being entirely ignored by all staff, entirely ignored. Whilst my apparently written off, previously beautiful Range Rover is being hidden and held hostage by the security bouncers. I did wonder, when all of this happened, who would pay for all the damage to all the cars that were on the forecourt, which obviously weren't, it's a car dealer. They're all going to be owned by Jaguar Land Rover. And the answer is, well, not the dealer group. I even tried to send in an assessor who was refused entry. The only contact I've received has been generic messages telling me that Inchcape are here to assist by telling me to seek help from anyone but them. At least he's got a sense of humour. I've employed a solicitor and will be contacting Tom Hartley and others affected by this fiasco. If your car is being held hostage by dodgy stooges at a dodgy dealer in Derby and it's actually been underwater and nobody wants to let you or your insurers see the car, please post in the comments or email me. I'm quite happy to get involved. Another customer to contact Car Dealer magazine has told us that Inchcape is not accepting liability for the damage amid concerns that his insurance company may refuse to pay out. So if they don't accept responsibility for it being on their site and the insurance company don't pay out, you're going to be out of pocket. And many of these Jaguar Land Rover cars are very, very expensive. So people are going to be very out of pocket. The Jaguar, and this gets interesting now because we're going to start taking the piss out of, can't say that, we're going to start looking at electric cars. The Jaguar owner says that his car initially went into the dealership in August following a recall in relation to faulty traction battery modules. Now, I had to do a little bit of digging here on these traction battery modules because the article then just carries on like everybody knows what a traction battery module is. but I don't, and I bet you don't. So what is it? The traction battery module affects Jaguar's I-PACE electric cars. And I went on ipaceforums.co.uk and I learned that this is largely, the fault with this traction battery thing, it's largely to do with something called the H441 update. And then I found the following comments. After the H441 update, I got the dreaded traction battery fault notification with charge limited to 72%. The car went to a UK dealer on the 9th of August this year, and I finally received it back yesterday, 6th of October. August, September, October. 2 months, with a new complete battery fitted under warranty. New person. My I-PACE has been disabled for 4 months in Wisconsin right after the 441 update. No support getting home to Toronto, no loaner vehicle, no communication whatsoever from Jaguar. The warranty ends in 3 weeks and I am so far close to $20,000 in work and repairs done. These I-PACEs, they sound great. New person. Having waited nearly 3 months, mine is still at the dealer's, I got the impression that my dealer has been fixing quite a few. Perhaps they are just taking 3 or 4 weeks each to fix, rather than the estimated 2 to 3 days. Good comment. Another one. Traction battery fault detected 8 weeks ago. 2 to 3 weeks after the 441 software upgrade. Since then, in Looker's dealership, UK, and they only say awaiting parts. Or, on one occasion 2 months ago, we have the battery modules but no fitting kit. But never actually admitting that the battery recall exercise commencing in May of this year, after the battery fires for 6,700 UK Jaguar I-PACEs, whilst telling less than the truth a week or a few weeks, or we don't know, with the latter being the truth. So there was already 6,700 of these these Jaguar I-PACEs recalled due to possible battery fire issues, and now you've got this thing. Attempts to speak to more senior executives promised, but only rarely happens. Fortunately, a courtesy car supplied under warranty. Therefore, I'm a very unhappy customer, this being my 13th Jaguar and a past member of the Jaguar Advisory Board. I bet this was his first electric one, though. I'm reliably told that in the new plans for the company inflicted by its last CEO, including only 3 high-price EVs and perhaps a total of 1 or 2 Jaguar dealerships in Scotland with legacy car services unclear, leads me to abandon the mark, sadly, as soon as possible. The future concerning my own car, which I really liked, is uncertain. I have done a video on Jaguar's decision to only make high-end EVs. It's ridiculous, but the video is here. Go and have a watch of it, because Jaguar is dead. Jaguar's finished. As a side issue, I note a class action lawsuit against Jaguar Land Rover LLC in the USA this past August. Faulty batteries of this type from South Korea, supplied to several manufacturers there, have caused fires and subsequently huge commercial settlements against the companies. I suspect the UK will follow suit in time. Well, if you're going to try and save the planet and be more green by buying a badly developed electric Jaguar that has a battery that was made in South Korea, that was shipped over here to be put in a Jaguar to be shipped to the USA, then frankly, you're an idiot. But let's get back to the main article now that we've learned a little bit more about these Jaguar I-PACE traction batteries. The I-PACE has been terrible, hasn't it? People have had so many problems with the I-PACE. And it's ugly. Back to the studio. No, back to the article. Basically, whoa, back to flooded cars is what I wrote there. So the car, this is the I-PACE, which had less than 5,000 miles on the clock. So it's a 5,000 mile I-PACE. Let's say it's a year old. It's probably worth, I've got no cash on me today, about £4. Was one of the many that was written off in the flood. But Direct Line has since told him that his policy does not cover loss for faulty manufactured vehicles. Oh, okay. So he's now concerned that his insurance is going to be void because his insurance policy doesn't cover loss for faulty manufactured vehicles. So Inchcape don't want to cover the car because it's not theirs. And his insurance say your car was at the dealership due to a manufacturing fault. The flood is just something that happens, but we can't cover you because of the reason that your car was on site. Interesting. These insurance companies are sneaky. Sedgwick International UK, who are a third party working with Inchcape dealership, have told me, Mr. Jaguar I-PACE 5,000 mile, £4 car man, that Inchcape are not accepting any liability for customers' cars that were in their care at the time when they were flooded, regardless of how long they'd been there or why. They've washed their hands of it. My insurer, Direct Line, have told me that motor legal expenses policy does not cover loss for faulty manufactured vehicles. So you've overpaid for your insurance because you've got an electric car. You've probably bought motor legal expenses because you were flogged it by the insurer, only to find that none of this is now on your side and you're out of pocket because your car was only worth £4 when it went in anyway. I would argue that the car was fitted with the faulty traction battery modules by Jaguar at the time of manufacture, and therefore it's ultimately the responsibility of the manufacturer, Jaguar, to put any shortfalls right. If the car had not been fitted with the poorly manufactured faulty traction battery modules that were made in South Korea, then it would not have been in the dealer's care for more than 2 months and therefore not been written off whilst in the care of the dealership when the storm struck. If the good replacement traction battery modules were available from Jaguar, then the car would have been repaired in August and therefore not been written off whilst in the care at the dealership because it wouldn't have been there at the time. Car Dealer magazine approached Inchcape for comment. They just sent one of their stooges round and said, please, could you stop contacting us? No, they didn't really. It just says that they got no response. Last week, a spokesman for Inchcape, the dealer group, said, our dealership continues to be significantly affected by the recent flood incident, and while the full impact is still being assessed, unfortunately, a number of client vehicles have been damaged beyond repair. We are just another scumbag dealer that is only here for your money, and we don't actually give a crap. All we're trying to do now is financially protect the bottom line, and we couldn't care less about people, even if their 5,000 mile Jaguar I-PACE is now only worth £4. Didn't say that bit, I made that up. We have a dedicated team who are supporting impacted clients on next steps, and our absolute priority is ensuring clients are kept mobile. I think, actually, their absolute priority is keeping the lid on what is actually a PR disaster. We understand the inconvenience the severe flooding has caused and will continue to assist clients throughout the process by sending cease and desist letters to anybody that says something that goes against what we want, and we will do our very best to not pay anyone if we can get away with it. Well done, Inchcape Jaguar. Well done, Storm Babbitt. I feel bad for anyone who's got a Jaguar or Land Rover or Range Rover at that location. But I've got to be honest, I don't feel that bad because they're Jaguar Land Rover products, right? We pretty much know that they're all rubbish, and we pretty much know that they spend all of their time at the dealer. We also know that particularly the Range Rovers, they're horrendously expensive and you look like a knob when you drive one. So do I feel sorry for these people? I'm happy to help you if you have a car at the dealership. I will help you bring this dealership into the light and get them to morally do what is right, and then I'll help you find a nice second-hand Volvo or Saab, or indeed a Mercedes with a leaking injector, which is what I've got right now. Thank you very much for watching. I was going to film here, but I've decided I'm going to drive somewhere that's a bit more pretty to film, and then I figured that involves starting the car, and then I thought, I should probably film that. It's not happy. It'll be alright. It wasn't a cheap car. It was just quite expensive but quite luxurious studio for filming. Oh yeah, I really like my Mercedes. It's such a nice car. Still only the one warning light this morning. Yeah, I like it a lot. I just accelerated then, and the remains of my cup of tea have gone all over my scripts, which are on the passenger seat. Thankfully, the passenger seat is the exact same colour as the remains of the cup of tea, so we're going to be okay. Not only did you get 3 videos on a Friday, you also got some outtakes. Yeah. What a car. I don't care that it's broken. I'm going to drive it until it actually stops because I really like it. I think Mrs. Geoff will like this car as well because it's comfy. What a win.